So we're back at it again with what you would expect from Hollywood these days, with almost every IP that they have in their pockets, where it just looks dead on arrival from the very first look. The changes they go with are almost always the same pathetic, needless things to change. But we've got a film coming based on Resident Evil called Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. We've already got the Netflix show on its way, which again is dead on arrival from the very first look. And Netflix are just fucking up everything at the moment. So Sony figured they'd have a shot at it as well, and do the same pointless things, which we'll see in a moment from its first look. So you've got this first image with Jill and Chris, with Chris is actually quite dead on, being played by Robbie Amell. Jill, on the other hand, has obviously been race swapped, as you expect. Then you've got Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield. Claire does have the look other than the hair. And of course, once again, another tokenized character. For no other reason than we can't come up with a brand new character for this guy to play. Because we can't be arsed. Just race swap the character from a diversity, the current slogan of Hollywood. And it's just so boring to me now. Boring, pathetic, and laughable. And it just shows me how little the studio believes in their creatives to just create new characters. And it's so predictable at this point. It's like with anything they bring back or what, they've always got to make them same changes. Oh, we're just fucking race swap and that'll do. So you've got the ability to create a brand new story with a brand new set of characters. And you just go, no, we'd rather just fucking race swap them so I look good to my friends. But I'm not getting into that too much because I can't be fucked with it anymore. It is so boring. It's just like, stop doing it. It's like, if your film's good or bad, either way, Leon Kennedy is still tokenized. Still a token character, sir. That doesn't fucking change anything there. And also, in an interview with IGN, he was asked, can you talk about the casting of the roles of Leo and Jill and what you wanted to achieve with that? So Johannes Roberts, the director of it, he says, it was hugely important with the whole casting process to find people who embodied the spirit and energy of the characters I wanted to portray. I think often in game adaptations, one of the big flaws can be just casting someone to look visually like the characters. Where you've just casted someone because of what colour their skin is, so what's fucking worse? And there's always this big lie they like to wrap round themselves as protection. It's like you've got a multitude of different types of actors all over. You can easily find someone who looks like the character and is a good actor, but they always opt for let's just lie to the fans. Giving them the identical haircut and clothes, but not really trying to give the audience the thing that a movie does better than a game, which is to create a three-dimensional character that you can really connect with and believe in. I think, as I said before, one of the traps of falling into game adaptations is to make it feel like a giant cosplay version of the game. From what I'm hearing at the moment, a lot of people are saying these first look images do actually look like cosplay. So I think he's fucked up there, step one. But he continues on in the typical Hollywood fashion. He says, our cast is obviously much more diverse than the original games. Diverse meaning there's too many white people for my liking. But I wanted to resist the trap of just casting because someone just happened to look like their character identically. Well, no, you went out of your way to cast someone who didn't look like the character at all. We actually had a lot of actors who came in and recreated themselves perfectly visually as the character they were reading. It was uncanny at times. And see, the main thing we've got to remember, see, in Hollywood, they don't just accidentally pick someone that doesn't look like the character. They already knew in their mind who they were going to fucking cast. What sort of they knew they weren't going to go for a white guy, because you can't have a white lead in a Hollywood film. It's not allowed anymore. But it was not what I felt this story needed. With Jill, I knew Hannah from Ready Player One, and this show she was in at the time called The Stranger, and I just knew she'd be perfect. Leon was much harder. We must have seen so many people. It was really quite a tricky role because of the balance of humour and wariness. Then Avon read, and I was like, he's the one. He gets it. But like I said, they already know who they're going to go for. They know that they're not going to go for the white guy. Because it's like you can have both. It's like you can get someone that looks like the character and can like act like the character. It's not fucking difficult. How many actors and actresses and shit do you think are in Hollywood? And they can't find someone who has both the things that they need. But it's just tiring at this point. It's just, I don't even fucking care anymore. It's tokenism, but just piss off with it. It's like, just give it up now. Because you can't resist. They just can't resist to race swap characters. But let's move on anyway, because I'm fucking sick to death of talking about it on this fucking channel. It's like with every new thing that comes out, it's right, race change the characters. But moving on. So the film is based on the first 2 Resident Evil games. So I don't know how that's going to turn out. Because if you are taking a decent amount of material from the first games, then it could just be rushed. It could just end up in a big jumbled mess. So I'm a bit skeptical on that front. I don't really know how they're going to manage that. I would say they might use the first game as like flashbacks, or that could be a possibility. But I don't think it's going to work well if you're trying to put 2 stories into the film sort of thing. Especially if you've only got 2 hours to do it in. I'm not too sure. But I think we can say one thing, that it does look like cosplay from these images we've got at the moment. It looks like a CW style show. That's what it looks like at the moment. So I don't know how low budget this is. But they've got to give up on this fucking race changing characters. Just stop doing it because it's unnecessary. Like I said, you can just put in new characters. But they never do. They never go, oh, well, we'll create some new characters. If you must have diversity, just create new characters. If you must tick your little boxes that has everyone's races on it, if you must, just create fucking new characters. But I think this is just the route it's going down now. Because I've seen some people going, oh, well, his hair doesn't look right. And it's like, what do you mean his hair doesn't look right? It doesn't even fucking look like the guy. It's not even in the same fucking race as him, man. But I'm not too sure how it will turn out. As most things do these days, if it's ever taken it from an already existing IP or whatever, they usually find some way to just fuck it up. But you always know it's going to go a certain way when they start talking about, oh, well, this is diverse. It's like, well, why the fuck are you saying that? So it's so people know. It's so people know that he said, oh, well, it's diverse. Because that somehow to them means better. But it's like, it's the same with everything. They always come out and say, well, it's more diverse. What the fuck does that mean? What's that got to do with the story of it? They must get a kick out of it or something, I don't know. But, you know, we've always got to take an IP and go, not diverse enough, diversify it. I'm telling you, it's like almost every other week now, whenever something news, there's always a race change. Every fucking thing that comes out about something. It's always go, oh, this person's been cast as this. And it's just fucking so boring. It's like there's no need for it whatsoever. But, you know, the hypocrisy of it is unbelievable. Because we know for a fact, if they tried to change a character that was black into white, there'd be fucking uproar. And I would still agree with that and all. That just don't fucking change the characters. Just accept what the character's been created as and move on. But hopefully it's something that's good, but it's still fucking tokenized, so that doesn't change that. But from the images and the sort of with it being based on the first two, I don't know what they're going to do with it. You would think they'd have to change a lot, but I would possibly think they'd use the first game as like flashbacks. But I suppose we'll have to wait and see. But I think that's all I've got to say on that anyway. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.